All right, we were talking about 6 special qualities of the three jewels. And we reached the 3rd one. And it means Mape Kepan. You got that? Okay. Okay. So when you take refuge, you can have 3 different thoughts about those jewels. This draw, for those of you studying Tibetan, doesn't mean liberate, it means to cross over. What's the Sanskrit? Tara, yeah. So when you are trying to cross over a large body of water like the Pacific Ocean and go from San Francisco to Shanghai, Drupatang, you need a captain of the ship who knows how to drive it. Go Drudang, and you need a ship. And Nyamdadoi Drokdar, and you need people to go with you to help you get there. And then we can think of Sangeni Chipada Nyanko Chawa. Now the next sentence is very important. Sangeni Chipada Nyanko Chawa, your relationship to the Buddha. Who's that in this metaphor? Yeah, your relationship to the captain should be Chipada Nyanko. Make offerings, bribe them to take you on the boat, get you across, okay? That's what we do with the captain. But in this case, the Dharma is not a person. Here's where he says, the Dharma is something to be achieved inside of you, okay? So the first jewel, you are making offerings to a person, a being. The second jewel is something you have to find inside of you, something you have to plant inside of you. Understanding emptiness, right? Third jewel, Gendindang, Sushindu Dopa Mibo. And then the third jewel is people you want to be friends with who are people who remember seeds all the time. You want to hang out with people like that, okay? To reinforce what you know. Okay. Drupe Kepani, De Sum Laklen La Shulwa. Shulwa is a beautiful verb in Tibetan. It means surrender your soul to these 3, okay? To practicing those 3, okay? Offering to the Buddha, trying to get the Dharma inside of you, and then choosing wisely with your friends, okay? And make it your heart's work, make it your life's work to do that. That's called Shulwa, yeah?
So the metaphor of the thing inside of you, that's the ship?
It is the ship, yeah, the ship is inside of you. That's pretty cool. Jerdengi Kepani, how do you think about them? Sangye Chomden Deshe, you should recite the sutra that starts with Arya Buddha Anusmriti, right? I taught you that sutra before retreat, right? Yeah. Small sutra? Yeah. That's how you should think of these 3 jewels. Do Jike Sumbashin, Koinjoki Yunten Chambayan. Then just think about how cool they are, okay? And that's how we should think of them when we're alone, when we're on a bus, when we're driving, you know, when you have a quiet moment. Then just think of how cool they are, especially the Buddha, and that's the sutra I gave you. So if you want to, you know, when I have stuff that I want to remember, I just put it up on my computer and I take a picture of it. And then it's on my phone. When I want to read that sutra, I can read it, yeah, okay? It doesn't take much space on your phone. This is a little too hot. The mic's a little too hot. The mic is too hot. Yeah, okay. All right. So I taught you that sutra. I taught you what it means. I'm going to skip through that. Somebody should translate the commentary. Yikes. Okay. Sixth quality, sunam pewale gyurwe kepani, sangini kansa chikla tene sunam. How do these three jewels act to multiply our good karma? Sangini kansa chikla tene sunam pewa. With regard to the Buddha jewel, just having faith in one person multiplies your good karma. Gendini kansa mambala tene sunam pewa. And with the Sangha, you are multiplying your karma by doing it with more people. There's more people. Buddha is one person. Buddha jewel is one person in this case. And Sangha jewel is many people, right? Roughly, Sangha jewel is anyone who understands the pen or better. Okay? Sunam Pelte, Sangye dan Genduni Kansaki Wanda Chedang. Again, he says the Buddha and the Sangha are people, but Chuni Gansa Mayambi Wanda Chepi Sunam Pele Kepro. But with the Dharma jewel, you are multiplying your karma with something that's not a person, with an idea. Okay? Then Kemsador na yang Sangela Kemsador ni Cheparando Joy Sambal Yinla Chuni Rangila Kepa Chebeso. So when you think about going for refuge to the Buddha, you're thinking about offerings. I don't like to say offerings because it reminds me of temples and only the monks can offer, you're not allowed to offer, and things like that. I like to think of it as thank you notes to the Buddha. Okay, it's just thank you notes to the Buddha. Okay, if someone really did something nice to you, then you give them thank you notes, right? And that's all. It's like can you hear me okay? It's okay? Okay. My ears are out, I don't know why. Okay. Chuni rangila kepa chebeso. But the way to go to refuge to the Dharma jewel is just to understand the pen. And then you are taking refuge, okay? So, it's not something you do with incense, it's not something you do on your knees in a temple. It's something you do when your husband yells at you when you come home. Or your wife, Mr. Dunn. Okay. All right. I kept saying husband, and then this guy in Guangzhou raised his hand. He said, "You don't mention wife ever. Wife also argue." Okay. Next is called going for shelter by accepting the shelter. Sumbake lame gone kyamsadro la sumte. Sange la kyap tembapo, cho la kyap ngue, kenen la kyam dupe dadok sakenente. So there's an idea that you accept these as three refuges. You accept them as refuge. Okay. First one, you accept the Buddha. This is interesting. Okay, listen. Not as a refuge, but as the person who teaches you what is refuge. Okay, so you go to the Buddha. You go for refuge to the Buddha. It means you go for refuge because he teaches you the pen. Okay, got it? So you're not really, you're going to him because he's going to teach you the Dharma jewel. Okay. Chula gyabngo. Gyabngo means that's the real refuge. Of the three, the real protection is number two. Of the three jewels, the real protection is to understand the pen, understand the husband's coming from you. Okay? That's real protection. Why? Human nature is to respond to violence with violence. Your husband calls you stupid, you say, no, you're stupid. This is human nature, okay? And real protection, when you follow your human nature, you say back to the husband, Ni fantong, meo wu, meo wu, not busu wu, busu wu, ni fantong. You're the rice bucket head. I'm not. Then that's human nature. When you do that, you hear yourself, and that plants another seed to have your husband yell at you. So it becomes a cycle, wheel of life. So the actual protection, the highest protection, is the idea that I shouldn't plant another seed. I don't want to plant another seed, okay? And you just shut up, okay? Is your husband a fantom? Yes. Is he stupid? Yes. All husbands are stupid. But you don't have to say it. Everybody knows it. Okay? Just don't say anything. Okay? Then you don't plant another stupid husband. Okay. And then you accept Sangha as your friends, people who can help you. Okay? Especially people who have seen emptiness. Question?
Yeah. I can't read the Tibetan. So
yeah.
In your explanation of the pen and the two
husbands,
we're doing both the dependent origination husband and the emptiness of the
second
husband. We're doing all that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not just emptiness. That's
right. It assumes dependent origination also. Yeah. Hector pointed out that protection doesn't just involve emptiness, it also involves dependent origination, which in normal language means it doesn't just mean to understand there's no husband who's not my fault. It also means to understand there is a husband who is my fault. That's dependent origination. If you want to confuse people, call it dependent origination. If you want people to understand, call it my seeds created my husband. Okay? Same thing. Same thing. Okay? If you give long, confusing words to the Dharma, it keeps many monks and nuns in business for a long time, including me. If you just use simple language, we have to play rock and roll and do something else. Okay. Berna ne mepe nepe memba menda neyosuna rewachulu mindawasum. For example, you can think of the relationship that a sick person has to the doctor, to the medicine, and to the nurse or physician. Yeah. Okay? Got it? All right. Dena pando kichi regula kepana jikpa narele duwe kyabngu ni chiyin. Every time you understand a new idea of Buddhism, you are protected from one more bad thing. Every time you understand a new idea in Buddhism, you are protected from one more bad thing. Okay? In DCI, we call it a life tool or life idea for your life. There's 12 in each level. So far we have 95 or 6. Okay? Every time you learn one of those 95, you protect yourself from one bad thing. Okay? That's protection. Understanding is protection. Okay? Okay. All right. That means, by the way, that refuge ritual happens where? In your kitchen. In your heart, in your kitchen. Okay. Okay? It's not so much when Venerable Phil gave you vows or Venerable Jigme gave you vows. It's the real ritual that confirms you as a Buddhist happens in the kitchen when your husband yells at you. Okay? Got it? That's the real, that's when you get real refuge vows. Okay? Always, you know, you guys are the next generation of teachers, and always try to think of ways that it doesn't become a ritual, that it becomes something people use in their home, in their work, with their children, with their parents, okay? Like that. Okay. The fourth section is called taking refuge by not agreeing to other kinds of protection, okay? Taking real protection by not agreeing to lower kinds of protection is the fourth instruction here, okay? And it's reflected in the first refuge vow, okay? It doesn't mean you have to swear you're a Buddhist, and then if you go to sneak into a church, you're a bad person or something. It doesn't mean that. It means solve your problems with seeds, achieve your goals with seeds, and don't waste your time on other stuff. You know, first recourse, the first thing you try should be seeds. Okay, then you're a Buddhist. All right. It doesn't mean you can't go to a doctor. Okay. It also doesn't mean you don't have to go to work. I heard somebody in China told their parents, Geshe Michael says, I just need seeds and I don't have to go to work. You know? Okay. The seeds have to come through something. Okay. Plant seeds, get a job that you enjoy, and you'll be successful. Okay. If you're super Buddha, you don't have to go to work. Okay. But we're not super Buddha. Okay. All right, Shipa Shendi Mimawe Gone Kyamsen Dorani. When Gyagala Lopen, Totsen Drupche. So there was two brothers in India who were acharyas, masters, Punyi Yopa Dambo Chiropayan. And they started as non-Buddhists. If you care, one is named Udbata Siddhiswami, and the other is called Shankarapati. Kong Ni Wanchu Chirchir. So the god of their religion was named Indra. Okay. And Chirchir, Riwo Kanchen Lasawana, and to make offerings to Indra, they climbed a mountain in the Himalayas. Then they saw Indra, but he was on his knees taking refuge vows from Buddha. So they said, whoa. Then they became Buddhists. What the heck? And they became great masters of the Mahayana teachings. They Sangiki Chewi Yenda Japa. And one of them wrote a famous poem, which is in the Tengyur, called Kebada Pakta, I bow to your greatness, or something like that. I bow to your extraordinary greatness. It's a very, very beautiful poem, and it's often quoted. Okay? All right. Rangre Tembala Kyamsen Zinching, De Tembala Lopani, Shen to Gyomi Tupa, Tembar Sumadang. Ideally, we should reach a point where our understanding is so big that we're not interested in any other teacher, okay, than the Buddha, okay? And it doesn't mean you're a bad person if you like Jesus or Moses or Muhammad. It just means that the more you learn, the stronger you will admire what the Buddha taught, okay? And my personal belief is Tartuk Tekpa Chikpa, which is what a Sangha taught, which is in the end they all go to the same place. So that's a Buddhist principle, Tartuk Tekpa Chik. You know, Tartuk means in the end, Tekpa means path, Chik means it's all the same. Okay, it all leads to the same place. Okay, some paths are slower, some paths are faster. Okay, then your refuge will slowly become stronger and stronger. Okay, Bandam mutekso chuddi le chiro de kyopala kyamsu minzin pate. The Buddhist word for non-Buddhist is outsider. Okay, and if you continually take refuge in science or things that only work on a surface level, then actually chiro to gyurpa, you leave the Buddhist group, you become non-Buddhist. Okay, I mean, and it's very tricky, you know. When I try to fix the air conditioner by taking it apart, I'm sort of alienating myself from Buddhism. And when I try to fix the air conditioner as the child told me to, in New York at what's his name, Leon's place. If I go and try to help someone else with an air conditioning problem, then I confirm myself as a Buddhist. Okay. Nangba dang chiwe temba dan temba dan dela lope gende nang cho men kepa yang deni ne. If you want to kind of get a feeling of the difference of the Sangha between those who are trying to fix the air conditioner by helping others fix theirs, or those who are trying to take it apart, okay? By the way, do you have to take it apart? Yeah, but it won't get fixed unless you help someone else, okay? So you still have to fix my hot water, okay. Okay, Dagni Tumba, now, I'll read you a poem. He quotes a poem. Dagni Tumba Shampangne, Chomden Kula Kyapsuchi, De Chi Li de Shena, De Chi Le de Shena, Kye Mingala Yenden Den. I'm going to leave other teachers for this time. I'm going to take refuge in you, Buddha. Why? Because you actually, everything you teach is right, and you don't teach anything wrong. Okay? Got it? Who wrote that? One of the two brothers. Okay? The brother that he was talking about. That's from his poem. Okay? Here's another line from that poem. Mutek sheng shunglula jita jita nam sampa teta teta gunkula daki semdin depar gyur. The more familiar I become with the teachings of science, etc., the more I believe in you. Okay, like we don't understand quantum physics or the general theory of relativity, and so we kind of think they know what they're talking about because they can blow up a city. But if you really study it, if you really spend a few weeks with Wikipedia, by the end you'll reach, what's his name? Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which is not really his, but it's still a core principle. That they don't even know how light goes from the sun to the earth. They cannot agree. And there's no physical way to measure correctly how light comes from the sun to the earth, like a basic thing. How light comes from my face to your eyes, they can't understand. They can't explain it. Because it acts two different ways according to who's watching. According to who's present, light that goes through a diffraction grating behaves either as a particle or as a wave. Contradictory. Okay, depending on who's watching. Okay, and if you really study, you come down to that, which is the pen. Okay, all right. Here's another poem from another verse called "The Praise of People Worthy of Praise." Juktan toba kalagdang, kune nyamon namjang kang, deni pao kyokadang, shengit siki kepalang. Oh Lord Buddha, you hero, what's the difference between your teaching and the words of other people? You tell us what's good to do and what's wrong to do, what will make us happy and what will not make us happy, and I don't see it clearly elsewhere. Okay? That was written by a master named Mati Chitra. Okay. Pundir mutek. So there's a word called mutek, say mutek. This is the ancient Buddhist word for non-Buddhist. Okay, and it was from India. And I recently, in our translator class, we found we translated the reason for the word tirthaka, mutek, and it means people who set up a little stool in the stream so they can wash away their sins, or something like that. Tirthaka. So Pabonka says the days of tirthakas are gone. We don't see them in Tibet, you know. the classical non-Buddhist schools of India are gone. You can go to, I spent many years teaching at Shivananda Center in Bahamas. Once a year, for 10 years I went there once a year. And they're supposed to be teaching Tirthaka, Mutekpa, but the knowledge is almost gone. That system is almost gone. Okay. It's actually better in Tsongkhapa. He explains it more clearly when he teaches the other schools. Okay. Anyway, Tengdu Chepa Dan Kepa Ke Chepa Gashe Gala Tu. So I translated it. You meet people who encountered a problem, so they got into some weird stuff. It means you meet these kind of people. I don't know, I seem to meet them a lot in yoga classes. But they'll say, you know, I just found out that there was a snowstorm where I live, and I met this couple at this coffee shop, and they didn't have a place to sleep because the highway closed. So I said, you can stay at my, I'll find you a place to stay. And I found them a place to stay. And then they said, we have a big load of ayahuasca in our car. And would you like some? And I thought they meant jicama, which is a vegetable. And I said, I don't really like it that much. And it's some kind of drug, okay? It's popular nowadays. It's some kind of plant, I think, right? And people take it, and then they think they can see God or something like that. Okay, it's popular in America with young people right now. And a good friend of mine, Kevin, his daughter went to a ceremony to take it, and she died. Okay, during the ceremony, and she had her phone on, she had her video going, and you can see her die. So these are just people get into weird things, People think, oh, ayahuasca is the new thing, the new cool thing. She was beautiful. She sang a mandala during my 3-year retreat, I remember. She in Celtic, I think. She did the song in Celtic. Very beautiful woman. Very, very beautiful. So anyway, people get into weird stuff. Yang Khor Mang Dupadang. Then they attract many people because it seems like they have something special. Okay. Shengi Ngosun Chedu. Then, because they want to get attention from people, they want people to follow them. Bendan Laluchu Luk Tsun La Jupa La. So they start following some kind of weird, like, I don't know, what do you call that? Shaman stuff with ayahuasca drug or something like that, okay? And then everyone runs to the ceremony. A bunch of people died near us, Flagstaff, from a ceremony in a, what do you call it? Sweat lodge. Like, how many? I don't know. 3 people. So anyway, Sun la juba jimi nyamba didani kyabla ninjin chepa. If you go to refuge for something like that, like to a drug, then you're splitting your refuge, and then it weakens your refuge, okay? Or if you split it to science and seeds, like 50-50. I worked in a diamond company for 19 years. The owner was from Israel, and a very fine man. And every 6 months, I will give half my salary to saving those books and things like that. So he will write a check from the company as a donation, and then every time he'll say, I'll throw in an extra 10,000 from me. I'm like, wow, And then one day I asked him, I said, why are you so nice to me? You know, why do you always add money when I make those donations? He says, you never know who's right. Maybe Jewish, maybe Buddhist. So anyway, don't split your attention, okay? Either accept science, you know, or accept seeds. Science with seeds, okay? I like to call it accept science or accept science with seeds, you know? Accept aspirin is going to work by itself all the time, which you can see is not true. Or accept that aspirin will work if you serve others, okay? Got it? But don't like say whichever is, you know, you never know which might be right, you know. Kachik benga bunga che serken yokyang. Then he gets into a delicate question. It's can you kind of keep some of your old beliefs and use these new ones also? Okay, so many of us grew up Christian, for example, and I'm very happy with the church, and I had very beautiful, deep experiences in the church. Okay, so then some people will say, "Can I just do like 50-50?" You know, che serken yokyang bungi tumbadan chudang. Then he says, examine who it is you're going for refuge to in that belief, and what's protecting you, and who's the people who are going to go on the journey with you. Okay? What is their Buddha Dharma Sangha? Okay? Study it. Okay? It's in Mete, and he says, unless you have a very deep understanding in which I believe you can find those emptiness teachings in other faiths, okay, you'll be disappointed, okay, in the end. Dave Timbala Kyun Kunsei Sokyen Den Minden. If you don't understand those other teachers' teachings deeply, you will be disappointed and you will find some problems there. Okay. And he says an interesting thing, and Kyabje teacher Rinpoche said this, and I wrote it down and kept it on my wall for many years. He said, if you're practicing something and it's not making you happier year by year, then something's wrong. Okay? If you're practicing something and it's not making you a better person and happier year by year, then something's wrong. Okay? Even Buddhism, even your practice of Buddhism. Genani sotala temba yinku chekyang de domgin mepe de singula yenden matsang. This is a thing where in Tibet there was some groups that were not Buddhist, but they wore Buddhist robes, and they have a blue robe, and they have their own kangir, but they stole it. It's the Buddhist kangir with the words, with the titles changed. You can see sometime if you check it. They just replaced Buddha's name with their teacher's name. Then we debated them once. They came, only once they came to debate with us, and you know, we have to say da-da-da-da churchen, which means what about this example of this object? And the word is dharma, right? Object is called dharma, and they refused to say it. They said bunchen. They want to say take this bun. They wouldn't say take this thing because the word for thing is also dharma, so they refused to say it. So they would say bunchen, we'd say chuchen, and then they only came once. Okay. Don't get maybe. So they don't have the vow tradition, unbroken tradition of vows that we have, even though they may wear those clothes. That makes you think they might. Bana namge kamding yang mepe kapsumi. The idea of taking refuge by trying to protect yourself by not answering your husband when he yells at you, right? Real refuge. They don't have it. They don't have it. They say, bow down to this God or bow down to this God. But they don't say, bow down to this idea that you shouldn't respond to violence with violence because you created it. And you will just create more. Okay? They don't have this idea. They say, bow down to this statue or bow down to this statue. Okay? Ben pensin chardan kitam dela gyar tsupatabu mayimbar. Then he says, I'm not trying to criticize other religions and I'm not trying to make an argument. I'm just saying there's a difference between how we bow down to Buddha and how they bow down to their holy beings. When we bow down to Buddha, it's when we're in the kitchen having a fight with our husband. And it's not in the temple and bowing down to some statue, okay? It's a different. He said it's just different. And if you ask them, do you bow down to the idea that there's a second husband in the kitchen that's not there? They'll say, that's crazy. Okay, got it? All right. We believe it's protection, ultimate protection. Okay, all right. When Jun Kebe Sungin Logyo Tsenden Namlai Chungwata Bungi Kungjinda Yin Shepa Chepa Kelchewe. Then he says, in the case of Bon, this ancient shamanism of Tibet, you should check out also where it developed and how it developed, because there are books about that explain how it developed, how it started. Okay, Tuken Dhammabaja Sung Drupta Tamje Kung Dong Detsu Dutsu Dumbalek Shishaki Meno Soli Shepagui. Then there are books in Tibet called Siddhanta. Ben Kramer is translating one for our translation program, and they explain the sources and the beliefs of these ancient schools. Okay, I was teaching Hindu people, Sankhya people, their school in their ashram because they didn't understand it. And Tsongkhapa wrote a beautiful chapter about the belief of Sankhya system, Advaita. And it was cool, you know. They lost a lot of their beliefs, and Tsongkhapa recorded them. Okay. Dena bungi temba tawa sumkang chirupetagom sepadang. So these, basically, to put it into modern terms, the ideas of science infect everything we do. Okay, everything we believe, all the things we do during the day, we are trusting the idea that chemicals are the building block of reality. That's our viewpoint, everybody in this room. Cell phone mentality. Nangbe suram ne parku de zunche jawaso tu chengawa chungde. But a lot of the beliefs that are in India and Tibet came from early Buddhism. If you read the Yoga Sutra, and I memorized it in the Maitreya retreat, it's a conglomeration of Buddhism from the 3rd century. Okay? It's just a bunch of ideas from Buddhism put in one book. Then those become systems in themselves, and then they get very weird commentaries. Try to read a modern commentary of the Yoga Sutra. They're not going to protect you, okay? They're not going to help you with your husband in the kitchen. They're not going to help you with your business problems. You know, they're not going to help you meditate. Okay. Then tagla gonde digung jikten gumba Then there was a famous person who started a lineage in Tibet called Jigum, and his name was Rinchen Pel. So they have a belief in India. It's called, I forget what it's called, Andarja. The world was born from a cosmic egg. Okay, it's in the Hatha Pradipika, I think. Cha, and then this custom of making sacrifices, killing cows for religion, killing lambs for to take away the sins of Jerusalem, right? Which is funny because it just adds to the sins of Jerusalem. Wang Chuk Soki Chepe Lux Nam. These ideas, Mute Gitawa Karawayan, they're all mixed up with different, what do you call it? Primitive beliefs. Okay. Kadam Bruchule. This is from a book, a famous book of the Kadampas, who were the first Buddhists in Tibet. And book is a couple thousand pages long, and Nick's group just had it input. They finished it last week. I'd like to thank you for that. Yeah. It's the most important book from the early days of Buddhism in Tibet, 1,000 years ago, called Kadam Lekpam. And we couldn't find it for a long time. And they just finished it about a week ago, I think. It has an important part on the Wheel of Life, so I was trying to find it. Okay. It is the teaching of the Wheel of Life as we know it today for the first time. It changed when Atisha came to Tibet. Mutik burning, mudumyur, telga pusung and dorkyur, mutik burning medan da, chingsa nyewen deng gyur nang, nyepa tugna tsikpa gyur. So things like ayahuasca ceremonies, they might make you feel cool. I took it once, okay, to be honest. Not ayahuasca, I took mescaline. In a cave, and I went to a canyon in near Cottonwood. There's a beautiful secret canyon. When I was like 19, I went there, and there's a beautiful river and caves, and it's totally isolated and very beautiful. And I stayed for a couple of days, and I took mescaline. And all this stuff happened to me. I thought I heard the angels singing, and I was jumping over cliffs, one cliff to another cliff, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, And anyway, in the short run, for a few hours, for a few days, you might see something cool. And the first time I met the Dalai Lama, I think I was with my mom. Yeah, my mom was dying, and my Lama took me there. She was dying for his blessing, and he said, so I'm sitting with my mom, and he looks me in the eye, and the first thing he says is, "Did you ever take drugs?" And I'm like, I'm like, yeah. My mom's like, anyway, we talked about it. It means here what they're talking about is there are things you can do which make you feel happy for a few days or a few hours, and then you come back worse than before, okay? So there are drugs you can do, there's hippie things you can do, don't eat for 10 days, strange things. And it will make you feel happy for a couple hours or a couple of days, and then in the long run, it will ruin your life, okay? And those of you who've tried drugs, you know that, okay? I'm kind of glad I tried them. I'm glad I didn't become a monk till I was 30, because I tried everything. Okay, so I know everything. Okay. Nyanjaki Wanchu, We'll go for another 15 minutes or so, okay? Your jet lag's supposed to be finished. Maybe she went to Singapore during the 3 days. No, I'm joking, Wang Chu. So he quotes Milarepa, who's the most famous meditator from Tibet. Bunki Junkung Lokche Dang, Lu Dang Jumbo, Top Denki, Chepa Tatu Lam Midru, Bunishin to Mepering. So these ideas of like ayahuasca ceremonies, things like that, local spirits, trusting local spirits, it's not an ultimate solution. It's not a long-term solution. Chinangi Kepani, Kyabne Dagla Zilwal. The difference between Buddhism and other beliefs is the husband in the kitchen. Okay? That's all. We take refuge. We seek protection in the idea that all fears and all negative things that come to us are because we hurt somebody in the past and we have to purify it. That's our belief. We take refuge in not repeating the same mistake. Nambe kyamne konjo sum, chibe tsong wang kyam juko, rangni kora le dune, shanda door nupani, zope sangini, you know. To take people out of suffering, you should have done it for yourself first. Okay. So don't spend a lot of time following something made by people who are not happy and who are suffering, like scientists. Okay, all right. In the end, they die, and they're gone, and it didn't help them. Okay, all the science didn't help them. Okay, Jitin Chingyurbe Shenla Negap Nguduptam Tsowar Nuki Tarpai Namdu Dewa Kalanu can't give you nirvana, much less Buddhahood. What's the difference? What's nirvana? I like to define nirvana as nobody can, excuse me, I'm not going to say a bad word, my Lama said not to. Nobody can make you angry anymore, you're at nirvana, okay? If you know all things, you're at enlightenment, okay, that's a difference. So those other paths can't even give you the lower goal of nirvana, okay? Lumbum karmo laso na regna luki kinkondu sangi topa gyurchi lo. Then there are some people who go for refuge in local spirits. One of my lamas said, we have a spring here, okay, Bear Springs. Why is it called Bear Springs? We have bears. Then I don't know if you have time, you should go see it. It's next to the Lama house up there. Community, what do you call it? Ranch house. It's in front of the ranch house. There's a natural water. It's one of the only ones in Arizona, South Arizona. And that's why they built these, there's a military fort here that's 100 years old, 150? And to take the water from the local people. So anyway, one of my lamas said there's a naga here. There's a spirit, water spirit here. And for many years the water stopped. It started last year, again. Is it still going? Yeah, you can go see it. It's very deep, it will cover your toes. In Arizona, that's cool. All right. Anyway, those kind of creatures that we can't see, spirits, you know, they're not going to help you get nirvana or Buddha. Okay. Okay, don't waste your time. Tengsang kachi ki bunki shenla ukar nambe chenwe sitan chikyen semchen tante sanki duja imbiche sangi chansanki tuba mambo bunki tesa. Then some people said to Pavonka, they said, look, I think like these Hindu gods or Christian gods or Muslim gods, I think they are Buddhas. They are Buddha. They are just Buddha in different form. And then every person on this planet is a disciple of the Buddha. Okay? So it's possible that there are bodhisattvas and Buddhas in every religion. Bunda chepala yende mato kyun me serwa yokyang detar mawani rangni tato ki pacha ngembe gyu lepe sheche mombar chepe tam chembo shikte. That may be true, okay? But is there a system that you can use to become a Buddha in that belief? Is there a way where they explain the pen and they explain how to get protection? You know, it's okay. But is there the teaching there that people can use, okay, for their real life? Deta mayena sange chansam ki trupa dundun nangdo anchun sipe. Then he makes a joke. If you don't care whether they're teaching protection or not, then since dogs and roaches might also be Buddhas, you can just take refuge in them. But it won't help you. The dog and the, what do you call it, roaches can't explain to you about emptiness. They can't explain the pen to you. Okay? So it's possible everyone you meet is a Buddha, but not everybody's teaching the pen. Okay? Something that can protect you. So it's probably better to stick to the one who's explaining the pen. Okay. Ngen tada pong chi beto shundudone. Okay, excuse me, I didn't write the book, okay? But I should read every sentence to you. He said, in Tibet, they didn't have toilet paper. So people would use rocks with a little bit sharp edge, but not too sharp. And he says, after you wipe your butt with one of those butt rocks, you don't take it home and put it, you know, keep it like this, you know. You throw it away. Okay. So it's possible, and Tantra says there are holy beings all around us, okay? It's possible. But for us, who's teaching you about the husband in the kitchen? That's where we should go right now. You know, at our level, that's what we need right now. There may be a day when you can sit with some ants. I also looked at ants in my retreat, my 3-year retreat, because there wasn't anything else to do. It's very possible someday you'll reach a place where you realize those ants are Buddha. It's possible. There will come a day. But to get there, we need to study the pen, and we have to go to classes, and we have to learn all these things. Okay? And things that don't teach you about the pen, you should throw away like butt rock. We keep looking for a name for our band. Monica's like, okay. So you can put your trust in this Buddhist refuge. Try it out. You know, next time you have a problem with somebody hurts you, next time somebody hurts you, then by the way, not because it's spiritual, but because it's effective, because it works, then try to remember they're coming from you, okay? Not because it makes you a beautiful spiritual person. It will make you a beautiful spiritual person, but that's not why. Take refuge because it works, it helps. If you don't respond to the husband who criticizes you with criticism, then over time, what did Master Shantideva say? If you keep up this habit, what did he say? Yeah, you're gonna miss them. You're gonna say, how come I don't have anybody to practice with anymore? We used to have all those guys helping out at Diamond Mountain who pissed me off, and now they're all gone, you know. I really can't, I don't get many opportunities to practice nowadays. The people who give you opportunities to practice will get fewer and fewer because you're not responding, you're not planting new seeds, okay? Just try, see what works, okay? Okay, Dona Kyamdo ne tsikta batsamla miserki Nyechen Katra Pepun La Kyabjun Watar. And then we'll stop. One more sentence, okay? Don't let your refuge be something you do in the class. Sangye Charan Saki Chanam. Okay? Don't let it be thoughtless words. Try to take refuge like a criminal who's facing the death sentence, and they get one chance to appear before a judge who can let them go, right? In America there's this custom, right? The governor of the state can sign a paper and even the guy who's supposed to be killed will be not killed, okay? Korvala kept, so try to imagine when you take refuge that you're like this guy who's going to be killed tomorrow by the court, and you have one chance to talk to the judge, and take refuge with that kind of respect, you know, like, I'm not really a bad person, you know, like, take refuge a little bit seriously. Don't like this time, okay. Because that judge can protect you from going to hell and animal realms after you die. That judge is who? It's not even the 3 jewels. Which jewel? Dharma jewel. Okay, we had a long teaching about it in Diamond Mountain last time. Okay, when you understand the pen to a certain degree, it's not possible to go to the lower realms. And people complain when I repeat it. One guy, not you, but one guy in Singapore, I'll never forget. He said, you taught that last time. Then I don't want to tell him, you know, I'm trying to keep you out of the hell. But I'm like, oh, really? I'm so sorry. You know. Okay. But this is part of the definition of refuge, means put all your hopes in what? In that response to your husband. Okay? Put all your hopes in that response to your husband. Not some God. Okay? It's an idea. That's protection. I told you before, I'll tell you again, there was a famous incident during the Buddha's life. His village was attacked. People came and ran to him. They held on to his lower robe for protection, and they were killed. Their blood was all over his robe. You know, they couldn't kill him, but they killed all the people. Okay, taking refuge is not holding some Buddha statue or praying to some picture of Buddha. That's not Buddhist refuge. This is Buddhist refuge. Don't answer your husband because you don't want to plant another one like that. Okay, all right. That's protection. Okay. So you know you've taken refuge when you trust that idea. Okay? That's refuge. When you don't respond to violence with violence, you took refuge. Okay? Got it? All right. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go to the ceremony with that Venerable Phil and Venerable Jigme has. That's not refuge. You should go, okay? It's making a beautiful commitment, and then you should remember that commitment when you go to your kitchen. Okay, got it? Both is okay. Anton, yes, prosper?
Just a practical question. So when there is a real, big problem,
Hang on 1 second. We just want to. There's people listening in Bowie, I think. I тоже фраси. Я слушал так.
Thank you. So when we deal with a big situation like yelling husband and we are thinking about taking the refuge and we do take it, but when we do a small things, for example, when I go from this place to the wall, so my steps are not the cause for me to
reach the wall.
To reach the wall.
That's correct.
But should I making this action? Should I keep remembering that that's not the cause? And if I'm not doing it, do I actually plant the bad seeds of not understanding or of not taking the refuge? What's the healthy, what's the fine line when you should actually take the normal action or when you should take refuge?
Yeah, it happens to me when I turn on a light. You know, like I reach out to the light and I touch it and then I'm like, this doesn't make the light go on. You know, why I think this makes the light go on? Then I go like that and it goes on and I'm like, but sometimes it doesn't, right, Vivian? So I think there's a balance. The more aware you can be, the more you get protection. But, you know, those of you who did 3-year retreat, there's days when you walk around like this, you know. You know, I'm like, oh, I gotta take refuge, I'm just going to the toilet. But I don't remember what it was, you know. I mean, you can get spaced out, you know. I think you can be dysfunctional. I mean, if you did a 3-year retreat, there's days when you're so sensitive, you're too sensitive, and then you can't help people, you can't relate to people, you know. So I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance. But it doesn't hurt to try to do it when you turn on the light. Or, you know, I want to get food, so you open the fridge, but that's not how you get food, right? So just to remember that from time to time, in a healthy way, will make you a kinder and kinder person. But if it starts to make you like you can't tie your shoes, then you should back off a little bit. You know? Seriously, because we've all seen Dharma people who get dysfunctional. That's not the goal. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah.
It goes back to the air conditioner.
Wait, microphone.
It goes back to the air conditioner. At that point, you had to fix the air conditioner, and the little boy said, no, go fix someone else's. Could you not, at that point, use the 4 powers and bring up a memory of a time when you helped someone, maybe actually helped someone fix an air conditioner? And can you not do a meditation and have that be the way of fixing it?
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I mean, it would take an hour to find someone else on 5th Street in New York who had all those Indian restaurants that aren't there anymore. Is your air conditioner broken? Then say no. And the parents would come to pick up their kids, we wouldn't have a class. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea. You know, in theory, you've lived countless lives. So you have seeds for everything in the bank. And we teach in DCI, we teach sometimes, you know, in theory, you have enough seeds in your mind already to be Warren Buffett, you know. You just didn't activate them. You didn't rejoice in them. So for me, to be honest, rather than 4 powers, I'm a bad person, I didn't make other people cool, you know, I'm sorry. It doesn't work so good for me. I like something positive. I must have fixed some goddamn person's air conditioning, you know, like 3 billion years ago. And so I rejoice that I helped someone fix their air conditioner. I do that, and it works. It's pretty cool. So you can do that. You have lots of unused seeds in your mind, countless. If you could access them, you would be successful without much new work, which is always attractive to me. Okay, all right.